We all know the importance and not to mention good karma to recycle all of our stuff when possible. We also know about the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. This is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch located in the Pacific Ocean. For every 2.2 pounds of plankton, there is about 3.2 pounds of garbage, including cigarette butts, cans, plastic bags, bottles, styrofoam, toothbrushes, balloons, and more. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is currently about the size of Texas. The garbage extends 20 feet or 6 meters down into the water and contains over 3.5 million tons of garbage and is estimated to double in size in the next 5 years. Did you know a plastic bag from the grocery store takes between 500 and 1,000 years to degrade? And only about 5% of all plastics are actually recycled. Cigarette butts and filters take 12 years to biodegrade. An aluminum can takes between 200 to 500 years to biodegrade. Plastic diapers and sanitary pads take between 500 to 800 years, and styrofoam takes more than 5,000 years. The Hershey Chocolate Company uses about 133 square miles of aluminum to wrap the 20 million kisses they make every day. While the wrap is recyclable, most people don't think to recycle such tiny pieces. Even though our carbon footprint has been reduced significantly since we started recycling things like tin cans, plastic bottles, electronics, and newspapers to more recently organic waste, I do wonder, is this enough as a society, and are we doing enough for the environment? As I walked around my city of Vancouver and to rural areas, I have noticed a few discrepancies in the recycling bins that we use, with many shapes and sizes to the different sizes of slots to put our recyclables in. Do you remember this game from your childhood, Square Peg and Round Hole? Does it look familiar? When it comes to recycling, this is what it reminds me of. Do we really need the if it doesn't fit the slot, we don't want it kind of mentality? Have you also noticed the garbage slot is bigger than the recycling slot? Perhaps the slot should be reversed. While I was at my local Tim Hortons, I had noticed that they have a space to recycle all paper products, including your used coffee cup. I find this to be a great idea if you're sitting there for the entire time, and then when you're about to leave, you can recycle your cup, which is a really great idea. This brings me to my first question. What if I take my coffee to go? Many places and recycling receptacles don't provide a space to recycle your coffee cup, so to get rid of it, you may end up just tossing it into the garbage anyways. Also, if you're to get a drink tray, which is made from cardboard, it too usually gets tossed as well because the other receptacles out there only have 3 uniquely sized slots for newspaper, plastic bottles, and garbage. How can this be? I think we need a more universal recycling program to where you can recycle all materials equally no matter where there is a bin. I think we also need to develop more partnerships with manufacturers to provide a proper label to the item similar to what you find on a clothing garment. For instance, like wash, dry, to do not iron, etc. We've all seen those. How about a new symbol system straight from manufacturing that would indicate if it's paper, it would maybe get a green circle, plastic could use a red square, and maybe even metal or tin could use a black star, etc. And how about the deposit that is collected on cans and bottles? The store where the product was purchased charges a deposit on the item of a few cents to ensure that you return it for a deposit refund. Back in the early days, the only option was to return the bottle for deposit for a refund at the store where it was bought. Nowadays, it's so easy to recycle that most of the time you just put it in your closest bin, such as at work or school or on the street. Where does that deposit money go to? Is it simply lost, or can we use that unused bottle deposit in another way? Not necessarily back to the consumer. Can we use that somehow in perhaps to help charities or to help the homeless? Spelling things out simply and universally could help us all to know what is recyclable and what is not. I just watched a segment that aired on our local TV on breakfast television about what can and cannot be recycled. I'll post a link to that, and I'll post that in the description as well. For the time being, when in doubt, I'm not sure if an item meets the qualification to be recycled, I normally just put it in the recycling box anyway and let the depot sort it out. I know it may not sound fair, but I'd rather have them decide than have it put on a one-way trip to the garbage dump when, for all I know, it could have been recycled in the first place. I recently had such a debate with a Coffee Mate tin, which looks to be made of metal, but is more or less made of cardboard and has a thin aluminum lining. I actually got into a dispute where I would say it's got to be recyclable, while the other had said it may not be, and advised me just to put it in the garbage anyways. Confusion on this particular item prompted me to wonder about how many other items there are out there and what can be done to provide a solution to anyone facing this dilemma. Recycling takes little effort on your part for a big difference in our world. In the meantime, let's recycle more and often and pressure our governments to take the next steps in recycling.